So you're wondering if you're a narcissist. So I'm going to give you kind of a quick answer, and then I'm going to give you 7 screening questions that will help you look into this a little bit more deeply. But if you are thinking, I'm worried I'm a narcissist, and if I am a narcissist, that's a bad thing, then my quick answer is you are probably not a narcissist. If you're thinking, am I a narcissist, and being a narcissist is a great thing? Maybe you are. So, are you a narcissist, or are you simply a human being with strengths and weaknesses? In my experience, these are the 7 questions that will help you figure that out. So let's start with whether you know what narcissistic personality disorder actually is, because most of us, when we're using the term narcissism, we are actually referring to somebody with a personality disorder. And this is diagnosed as a mental health disorder, but it is viewed to be more pervasive than most mental health disorders which respond to treatment. Personality disorders are really seen as enduring patterns, and narcissistic personality disorder is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a constant need for admiration, a lack of empathy for others. People with narcissistic personality disorder tend to have an inflated sense of self-importance. They tend to exaggerate their achievements, and they tend to exaggerate their talents and sort of their specialness as a human being. They often feel entitled to special treatment, and they expect others to cater to their needs and desires. So, if you're new here, my name is Barbara Heffernan. I was a psychotherapist specializing in anxiety and boundaries and helping people with difficult relationships, and I did that for over 20 years before starting this YouTube channel to help people around the world and starting some online programs. So welcome. All right, the 7 questions. Number 1, do you constantly brag about your achievements? Now, this is different than acknowledging what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I'll use a personal example here because I'm quite good at math, which you don't always expect from a therapist, I know, but my first career was in business. But math always just came very easily to me, and I was very good at it. So I'm mentioning that to you now, but I don't bring this up at dinner parties. I don't bring it up very often at all. Most people who know me don't really know that because it's irrelevant, right? And my being good at that does not make me a special human being. It's just like, okay, I'm skilled in that area, but I am really lousy at some things like painting, singing. Oh, you do not want to hear me sing. Okay, I have strengths and I have weaknesses. We can acknowledge those. We can be confident about them without bragging and without constantly needing to let people know how special we are. Number 2, do you always like to be the center of attention? So grandiose narcissists always want to be the center of attention. And so if there is an event, let's say there's an event celebrating somebody at work and the narcissist is not being celebrated, they might create a distraction. They might do something, even if it's negative attention that they get, just to get the attention. And grandiose narcissists are obvious. Like, you kind of often know who they are after a while because they're just dominating the conversation. They're turning it back to them. They might talk a lot, brag a lot, right? They're grandiose. There's another kind of narcissist, which is called either covert or vulnerable, where they don't always like to be the center of attention unless it's with one of the people that they consider their supply, which is a little complicated. If the covert narcissist wants you to be paying them attention and you turn your attention to that grandiose narcissist over there, the covert narcissist will do something that's probably more self-pitying or, oh, poor me, to get you back, but they're still getting you back. So if you feel like you always have to be the center of attention, maybe you are a narcissist. And again, don't confuse this with sometimes liking to be the center of attention, because that's human. Not everybody likes it, but some people do. Number 3, do you make yourself feel good by putting others down? You may have done that at some point in your life. Honestly, most of us humans have done that once or twice, right? But it really doesn't feel good. After you do that, you feel bad about yourself. That means you're not a narcissist. narcissist. If you do it regularly and you feel like you have every right to do it, and oh, by the way, everybody does this, so I'm not a narcissist, everybody does it, but I do it and I don't feel bad about it, and it's good for them, and who really cares? It's good for me. That's a narcissist. Number 4, would you lie, steal, or cheat to get admiration? All right, let's talk about some examples here, because again, we all like to be admired, at least sometimes, right? We want to be complimented by our boss at work. We want to be recognized for the good work we do. Absolutely, that's human. So if you like it when your boss pats you on the back and says, good job, you did a great job on that presentation or whatever, and that makes you feel good, I'm glad. It should make you feel good, right? But if you are sabotaging your coworker so that your boss thinks you did the work and not them, or you make them look bad so you can make yourself look good so you can get that praise from your boss, that's narcissistic. So basically here, if you do something selfish, right, which again, there is a human element where sometimes we're selfish and we don't always think of other people as much as we feel we should, right? But if you do that and you feel bad about it, that's normal, right? If you feel anxious about not having maybe been all that nice at times, if you feel anxious or unhappy about that, that's healthy. Having a moral compass, even that moral compass that might keep you up at night, which is a different topic. We don't want you kept up at night, but that moral compass that tells us, ooh, you did something wrong, you might need to apologize. That's a good thing. Number 5, do you understand other people's feelings and then use it against them on a regular basis? So nobody talks about this because you will always hear that narcissists don't have empathy. Empathy has different components. It has cognitive components, it has physiological and emotional components, right? So when we feel what somebody else feels, that is physiological and emotional component. When in our head we know how they feel and why they feel that way, that's cognitive. And most of us have both or all 3 kinds of empathy. Narcissists really only have cognitive empathy, which enables them actually to use people's feelings because they know what they can do to cause a good feeling in you, and they know what they can do to cause a bad feeling in you, and they will do that to manipulate you in order to get whatever it is they need or want at that moment. Number 6, does criticism enrage you? Like most of us don't like criticism. We really don't. Even when it's given to us nicely, we really don't like it, right? But we can hear it and we can self-reflect. So if somebody criticizes you and it's like an ouch, but you self-reflect, you think about it, you maybe talk it over with somebody and you think, maybe I do think it was unfair, but maybe this component is true. You're assessing it. That's healthy. Nobody, as I said, loves criticism, but narcissists can't tolerate it. Criticism can enrage them. It can make them really lash out. It can make them want retribution, right? They want to attack. They want to hurt. So that's a good one to think about. Number 7, are you always the victim? Do you always feel like everything is everybody else's fault and you are simply at their mercy? Because that's actually the way most narcissists feel. Now, again, sometimes we are victimized. When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you probably do feel victimized because they are actively manipulating you. But this is a tricky one to explain because sometimes if people grow up with a lot of trauma in their life, they do end up feeling like they're victims a lot. And they probably have been, right? There have been things that are outside of their power to change. But there's a different quality to it in terms of how the narcissist feels it. It really is about 100% blaming everybody else and taking no responsibility for anything. Even if you burn dinner or drop the dishes or stand somebody up, right? Even on those small things, somehow the narcissist flips it in their head. I do believe they often fully believe it. They flip it in their head that somehow it really wasn't their fault and it was your fault or his fault or the fault of that over there. So those are the 7 questions. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Do these resonate for you? Do they clarify things for you? Do you feel like you fit 3 out of 7? Put a comment below and I will respond. But if you answered no to most of these questions, the good news is you're not a narcissist. But that doesn't mean that people in your life aren't. So my next video is going to be about having narcissistic parents, and I'll have another one about how to deal with a narcissist in your life. Subscribe and you'll be notified. Thanks for spending this time with me. See you next week.